We're going live. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We'll be there until 10 a.m. You can join us now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Today, your hosts are Queen Aduni and Danny Stillwell. Enjoy. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everybody.
Grand Rising.
Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself and say hi and all that good stuff. Anytime.
Good morning, everybody. It's Sister April from Los Angeles.
Oh, hi, Sister April. Oh, wow, you're rising up early for us. Or do you do that? Or do you always rise up early?
Most days, but today I got a special for you all.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Are you in the natural hair industry?
I'm a natural hair aficionado. Now, Wheatley started doing my hair when I was 12, and then when I came to Howard in DC, then Sister Fauna took over. So, and then I used to also get products from Sister that's coming on from New York. She used to have a product line we used to sell at the store I worked out of.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, welcome, 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 everybody. I see Fauna. Oh, you're on mute, baby. There you go, I think.
I'm driving right now from Kentucky.
Oh, you're on you're on Nina's. Is that Nina next to you?
I'm on Nina's phone. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Grand Rising Queens.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Well, you guys drive safely, and thanks for coming on anyway.
Divine Grand Rising, everyone. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Hey, Empress.
Look beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, everyone.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, somebody's texting me. My partner, Danny, is traveling, so she will not be here, or she might jump in. Mama Bay. Mama
Grand Rising,
Evelyn.
everyone.
Yes, yes, you were on early.
Well, you know, it's Friday.
Yeah, get your spot.
Make sure I'm fully dressed.
Yes. That is so funny. Mama Evelyn, how you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good with that beautiful gray hair.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Deidre, you want to yell at us? I know we won't see you.
Let's see. Grand Rising, everyone. So good to be here.
Good, good. Cherise, hi. Welcome. I think let me see. Are you muted? Cherise, do you hear me? Cherise? Is this King? Yeah, yeah.
Peace. Sorry to call you so early in the morning. How you doing?
I'm good.
Well, today they talking about natural hair. So
wait. Mama. Mute your, let me mute you. We hear you. There we go. Go ahead. All right. So today we have a
delicious topic.
Yeah, I hear you. We have, the topic today is on natural.
She came right back on. Yeah, this is a good topic. And
Can you hear me?
yeah. Hey, Cherise, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Grand Rising. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem. I'm just gonna mute. I just wanted to see if you could hear me.
Yeah, gotcha. Thanks. Now let me see. Me and names, we dance, okay? Rasafik, brother, I saw the king come on.
Yes. Greetings. Good morning.
Did I say your name correctly?
You certainly did.
Just follow the sound, right?
Yes, ma'am. And pronounce the syllables.
Right. Where are you from?
I'm from DC.
Okay, cool.
I was invited by Fauna, a good friend of mine.
Oh yeah. Fauna, she's a great PR person. I'm gonna have to send her a check. Fauna, I'm gonna have to send you a check, girl.
Yeah, I invited April in California too. I invited a lot of people, so hopefully some more people are on.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not talking, but I invited a lot of people.
Yeah, good. Because this is a great conversation. I see Queen Isis is on. You want to greet us this morning?
Peace and blessings to everyone.
And where are you at now? You got 2 locations.
Yes, ma'am. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. And I'm based out of Dallas, Texas, is where everything still is up and going.
Yeah, awesome. Let's see. Isis is one. Isis, can you change your name? Do you know how to change your name? Because it says Narada.
I'm on my son's computer.
Okay.
Narada. I can ask him. I
can change it.
I'm not good at it.
Right. I'll change your name. And let me see. Rename.
It said she'll change it.
There we go. Yeah, today the intent is to take the industry forward. And I got a whole lot of notes last night before going to bed. Even going to bed, I had to grab an envelope and write some stuff on there that I believe that Spirit wants us to talk about today. Let me see. Well, Rasafik, you want to tell us about you?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Come online, babe. Let's see you. Your handsome self.
I just woke up. Fauna had sent me this Zoom meeting yesterday. And so I got in a little late last night, but I'll come on screen shortly.
Okay.
As soon as I get myself together. But as I said, I'm a very good friend of Fauna's. I've known her for a number of years. We're fellow activists here in the DC community in many respects, politically, culturally, holistically. And we advocate a plant-based vegan diet, exercise, and spiritual endeavors such as meditation, prayer, and chanting. We're about healing.
Yeah.
I'm trained as an architect and urban designer, and I'm originally from DC, grew up here, and so I'm proud to be seemingly so far the only brother on the call.
Yeah.
So I'm honored to represent the brotherhood here this morning.
Always needed, always welcome.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you, and thank everyone that's on the call this morning. I'm looking forward to the presentation.
I say. And it will be more of a conversation than a presentation, because this
Okay.
is a conversation that is needed. And yeah. And so we have Karen. Thank you, brother. Karen,
Indeed.
you want us to call you D?
No. I was just saying, you saying thank you, and I was saying indeed, you're
Oh,
very welcome.
gotcha.
Indeed.
Indeed. I say. Karen Daniels, you want to greet us?
Yes, good morning. How's everybody?
Good. How are you? Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Welcome. Welcome to
Thank
Grand
you.
Rising. And where are you from?
I'm from Washington, D.C.
Okay. Is that a Fana do?
No.
How did you find out about us?
Oh,
How'd you find out about us?
Fauna sent me the link.
That's what I was saying. Not do as in do your hair.
Oh,
Because
yes.
she invited a lot of people, and I really appreciate her. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is our beautiful natural hair. You know, here's my natural hair. Here's my style. So I'm Queen Aduni, and I'm with Everett's Natural Beauty School and Salon here in Detroit, Michigan. And I've been in the industry since 1978. And that's when I started. I'm from San Diego, California. Well, Kansas City, San Diego is where I was raised. And then now I'm in Detroit. I've been here since 74, actually. And just started doing hair and natural hair because I've been braiding since I was young. I had younger siblings, 3 younger sisters, and so I took care of their hair, and very creative in all of that. And what I do remember is my Aunt Geraldine. Aunt Geraldine could make the most perfect French braid ever. And just watching her, and then of course being serviced by my mom, and then just being creative and doing different things. And my mom used to tell me that, oh, you're gonna be a hairstylist. That's what they call a hairstylist back then. And I would tell her, I'm not gonna be slaving over nobody's head. So what did I end up doing? Not pressing curls, something quick. I slave over people's head joyfully. And so that's how my life has led. And then my entire family moved out to Detroit. When I got here, that's where I started doing hair, and by a need. And then when I found out there was money that could be made, I was really like, okay, let's do this. I made $107. I remember $100 that weekend. And I was working for a law firm. And so I said, well, $100, shoot. If I make $100 in one day, right? In one day, I was making $200 a week at the law firm. And I said, if I make that money that next week, I'm quitting. And so I did. I made $107, and I went back. I asked them, could I work part-time? And they said it was all or nothing. I took that as it's all for me and nothing for you. And I took off into my entrepreneurship world. And it's been like that ever since. I invited my family, my sister, my cousins. One moved from Omaha, Nebraska. One moved from Gary, Indiana. The others came from San Diego, California. And so I've been blessed to be able to work with my family. And I've been blessed that they trust me to lead them. And so, and the rest is history. My son, he ended up going into it back. He backed into it through the back door kind of thing. It wasn't what he wanted to do. But it was something that he could do as wanting to be a rapper. in New York at that. He's sitting there and he's looking through the yellow pages and the paper and stuff. And I said, no, you need to learn. You need a skill so that you need a skill so that you can control your time. And then I knew some sisters out there and brothers in New York that would take him in and you know, and tutor him and make sure that he's doing things right. But he didn't go. He stayed here. He went to school. He said, I'll just take, you know, I had started my classes and he was saying, well, you can just show me. I said, no, no, you'll take my class like everybody else. You will respect me. And because I've been here all along and you didn't do it. So he jumped in the class and he's been here now and he runs the school and kind of manages the salon. It's just really good. So I'm at the point where, I mean, I'm 69 now, so it's time for me to retire and do the other things that I love to do, which is my passion. My passion is event planning and not somebody's wedding and all that kind of stuff. It is actually doing things that's going to forward our game, conferences and festivals and things like that. And this is an event. So welcome to the event, right? Event of Grand Rising Elizabeth. So let me tell you a little bit about Elizabeth. Elizabeth is based on the story when Mary in the Bible went to, when the angel came to her and said, we want, you know, you're going to be pregnant and you're going to have the Son of God. And she said, well, how am I going to do that? I'm not even, you know, doing anything. And he said, well, the Holy Ghost is going to come upon you and so on and so forth. But what he also said was, oh yeah, and your cousin Elizabeth is also with child. So she went to visit, Mary went to visit Elizabeth. And when Mary approached Elizabeth, Elizabeth's baby leaped. Now that is sweet. You want to be around, and let me tell you why it leaped. Well, one, she was carrying John the Baptist. So spirit to spirit, you know, like spirits leap. So when the baby, the significance of that is that you want to be around Elizabeth, people who make your baby leap. So all of you make my baby leap. Yeah? Yes. Yes.
That is so beautiful.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's why Elizabeth is here. And there are 20 principles that govern that. Oh, people are just texting like crazy. I'm not able, everybody else is on. I'm not able. I'm not able.
I love this.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, Cherise. She's on it. She's writing them back and stuff. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Elizabeth. See, Elizabeth step in and take care of stuff when they know that Elizabeth is doing something. That's what I'm talking about. So when we talk about Elizabeth, when you're around them, you're not gossiping, you're not complaining. You're talking about where are you now in what you're doing? What's happening? What can I do to help you? What are you about to do? What's next for you? That's what the Elizabeth conversations are about. Matter of fact, I called my Elizabeth Ayaba, and because in straightening up everything, she has sent me this book. It's Messages from the Front Lines, a collection of inspirational writings to open the mind and inspire the soul. And Dr. Ayaba Bay is right here amongst us. She is part of the Elizabeth. And then these other books she sent me out of the blue. She just called and said, this is what a year or two ago or something, Why I Sing the Blues and Wine for the Mind. And she's been you've been reading from these, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yes, yes.
Right here. She has sent these books to me. So that's why I called you last night.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
knocked out. So I could get up early today.
Yes. So, so that's what Elizabeth is really about, being around people that cause your baby to leap and gives you excitement. Grand Rising, Elizabeth, comes from the notion of being able to get up in the morning and be with some really cool people and then start your day. So if you just imagine, if you imagine a house full of wonderful people, right? You're in a mansion and everybody wake up, you're in your own rooms and stuff, you're in your own world, and you come downstairs to the kitchen, right? And in the kitchen, you know, somebody's over here doing something, cooking, somebody's over here, somebody's at the table going through their last bits before they go to work or go to school. The other person is putting their top on. No. And, you know, just doing things, but you're together for those 2 hours. And then when you're ready to go out into the world, you are empowered because you've eaten a good, delicious breakfast. And that's what we call it. When we walk away, we're like, whoa, that was delicious. That was delicious. So we invite you to come any day. We're basically female. The energy of the Elizabeth in this case are females, but you know, men, our brothers are Elizabeths as well. So today we have different hosts every day, and Friday is my day, and I wanted to invite my natural hair wearers or participants or stylists, or you know, those who do and those who wear and those who love either way, go either way, or those who want to know, you know, this is not about doing hair. This is not about hairstyling. This is about the industry. That's where my interest is. My interest is working with the leaders. And some years ago, we had our first leadership symposium, which was awesome. It was awesome. And we talked about where do we take the industry. But like anything else, you know, when it's a baby, well, not just a baby, but we had all kind of ideas, but then the execution did not come forth because life happened to all of us, and we were stooped in making that work, making life work. We were all kind of at the beginning of our businesses. But now, 40 years later, not 40 years later from the thing, but I've been in the business for 40 years. I am a wonderful 69. And yeah.
Yes, you are.
Wonderful 69. And so I want to talk about the industry and what you see. I know what I see and I'm share what I see, but I want you guys to talk about where you see the industry going, where it is now. Don't really want to focus on the history, because I mean, we've all been affected by the history, good, bad, or whatever, or indifferent. But what do we want to create for a legacy for this industry? So I want to, three of my guests are here. So I want to introduce to you, and as I introduce, I'm not going to like do everybody at one time. I'm just going to call on you, then, you know, share. And one of the things that I want to know is like, what do you, like if you have a salon or a business, what your business is, the name, if you're up and running right now, and where do you see the industry right now? And we'll ask later, where do you want the industry to go? But where do you see the industry as it is right now? So I'm gonna introduce Isis. No, I'm gonna do this because where's my home? Oh, did he step away? While he's coming back, we'll go ahead. Isis, let me tell you about a little bit about Isis, and then let her share. Isis is known for that back in the day when we first started, we had to fight to make money. You know, we had to fight to have our rights and stuff. And she was one that in Texas that they chained her. You see her, the picture of her, I meant to have that picture of her, taking her, you know, to jail behind making money righteously and having our own business. And so we had to, that was another like civil rights that was stupid, but became with something new as an industry, as a people. And so Isis, I want you to share, and she has these beautiful children that sing their behinds up, well, they're all grown now, but they can sing like crazy. Isis, welcome. Unmute yourself, baby. Her beautiful self. I still don't see, I don't hear you. There you go.
Can you hear me? I said, thank you, gratitude. I'm happy right now. I'm very thankful for you. And I want people to know that it wasn't really back in the day. I'm 64. This happened in 1994. It was illegal to braid in your houses, in your homes, and stuff in Dallas, Texas in 94, 95, 96. I was already doing a lot of braiding in Texas and Dallas in particularly since the early 80s, 82, 83. And finally, they realized that it's a business, it's a skill. Yeah. And that's when they came and said it was illegal. But there were women during that time that would say, and this was all over the country, really, everywhere in other states, I'll braid your hair, but make sure you don't tell anybody. I don't know if you remember that. That was happening a lot across the country. So we had to have another Harriet Tubman to come through to stand up for our people. Now, 28 years later, we're right here with the Elizabeths, you know, with the Healing Through the Hair ministry. I have a Healing Through the Hair ministry that started out when I was very, very, very closely connected all the time to Erykah Badu when she was 12, 13 years old. And this is some of the things that we talked about during that time when she was coming into her career. You can even wear your hair in head wraps like the gaylés or anything like that. So you said, we're talking real, this is real. Back in the day when I came up in the 60s and the 70s, you know, that era. We would always have our own economy right there in the hood. I'm from South Dallas. You know, I'm from across the tracks, and we had a beautiful family. Everything you could find the snow cone lady there. You could find anything you want. You could find your goodies there, your foods, your sandwiches. We were closely knitted together. Yeah. And that's what I feel that you're saying about the Elizabeths. I love the fact that the Harriet Tubmans came back and chose me to stand up for millions of women now all over the country, but those that go to Texas to do natural hair, to be entrepreneurs, to make it a career, to open up a school, are free to do that, but it's not like that in other states. So when you say, where are we moving forward? I feel like it's a brand new day. And I'm so happy to God. It is a brand new day, and we all play a part. Yeah. Every last one of us. My part is the spiritual aspect that I bring through the healing, through the hair, because it's a ministry. It's a ministry. This is your sacred God space is your head, your hair. your antennas, you know, the Rastafarian, so many people talk about the beauty of God living inside of our hair. That's what the Africans believe, that God lives in our hair. So it's important. And our elders always told us how sacred it was. Watch it. Don't let everybody touch your hair. Don't let everybody get in your head. So that's the level that my Institute of Ancestral Braiding I have. The Institute of Ancestral Braiding is a ancestral braiding priesthood.
Yeah.
It's totally different because I feel like once we understand and have a collective understanding and our consciousness is moving, like you said, in rhythm, like the Sibyls, everybody has faith in each other. Everyone is coming to support. That's how I feel like healing through the hair is, because it's your God spirit. When we're in these salons, sometimes we don't even think about how we're putting other energy into someone else's locks, yes, or into their braids or into their afros. This is where my spirit is going to push the youth forward, so we'll have a better understanding what it means to work with blended hair, mixed babies' hair, biracial babies' hair, blended hair, Asian and Black hair, what it means to even touch the strands of something so sacred. And being that you're having this on a Friday, I'm a priestess of the spirit today that emanates love. I'm a priestess of love. That's the mother energy that's in all of us, that's pulling the kids back together, and all the children and all the people that you and your husband and your family are using your superpowers to bring alignment back to this planet. We're pulling it all together. It's like it feels like we're cuddling with one another.
Yeah.
It feels like we're loving on one another. That's the energy that we as superpower, natural power energies on the planet, you call them angels, I call them angels too, are here to bring that element of love back to it. It's not like we just was fighting in ISIS days. We've been fighting. Willie Morrow talks about how it was against the law to even be seen in public, period, with your afros, braids, your twists, your locks. Period. So our people had to use leftover dishwater liquid to condition their hair. But that was all a part of us getting to know our higher hair, the trees, like our hair grows up high to the heavens, and children should know that.
Yes.
We're reaching high. Yes. And I thank you for that. But it's just so much to talk about spiritually, about healing through the hair and what that means, from what we eat and put in our bodies to what you said, hanging out with Elizabeths. You know, hanging out with people that are, I always say I want to come with, what do people call it? Natural love. Natural love is untainted. It's natural. It's like everything in nature. So I feel that what we're doing is a brand new day, and we're celebrating. And I thank you. I thank you because you see it globally. Your vision is, it's expanded. And that's where we're supposed to be. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. This is my new book. I have to tell everybody, this is my new book, Stolen Crown. True Hair Stories. Well, this is dedicated, Stolen Crown, Black Hair Stories, 400 years later. I hope y'all can see it. It was dedicated to one of my clients who committed suicide because a licensed cosmetologist took all of her hair out in the crown.
Wow.
Stolen Crown.
Well, thank you, Isis. I love when you said healing through the hair. You know, because when our clients come to us, matter of fact, I tell my students that our clients in teaching about the body and, you know, body, soul, and spirit, when a client comes to us, they expect that you are able to give them holistic treatment, holistic answers to their body, what's going on in their body, not tell them just go to the doctor, but because just from that you are doing natural hair. So that contains a whole bunch, which is way more than what you get when you're dealing with cosmetology. It's just going in there and doing hair and go to school and do what they say you need to do. But our approach is different. I'm sure anybody who is teaching, the approach is different. And we're all teacher because we have to teach our clients. Sometimes when our clients are sitting there, my client, and they ask questions, I'll go get the book and turn it to the page, read it here, right here. You can learn all about what your hair is doing right now. So thank you. And on that note, I want to share with those who may not know that Willie Morrow passed yesterday.
What? And I said something?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, ancestors.
Yes.
That is so, oh my God. I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, look how the flow. That's why you know your energy is righteous.
Yeah.
Sister Queen Elizabeth. It's just so beautiful that all these spirits are returning. I feel like the ancestors and all the super powers are returning. This feels like a new Kemet to me, like a new download of really powerful energy. Well, my condolences to the family when I read that book. Oh, I actually used to teach with his video in all of my classes.
So those who don't know, Willie Morrow is the he's in California, and he was in San Diego, and he had the California Curl. He created that. He wrote and directed. He wrote a book on 400 years without a comb. So when you pull that 400 years at the bottom of your book, 400 years without a comb, a book and a movie. And he also created a cosmetology book for us. And so yeah, he in his days, he makes products. And so you could, what do they call that when you put your name on there on the product? He makes the products and other people can buy it, and then you put your name as the one that is your product.
He was a manufacturer?
Yeah, yes.
He was so he was a co-packer.
Is that
Sheila? I think it's called a co-packer.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe it's called a co-packer. Not sure.
It's something with the labeling where and
where the manufacturer makes an actual product, you tweak it a little bit, you tell them what you want, blah blah blah, and then you slap your logo on.
Exactly. Now what's so beautiful is that his daughter Cheryl Morrow he really poured into that, and that's going to lead us into what we're talking about with this industry, that it is important, just as what he has done. He poured the knowledge into Cheryl, and she sucked it up. And she has, she deals with the scientific description of our hair. And she speaks of she's representing us as a description of our hair scientifically and what it does, because that's what they did. They made products. And so they had to understand. When I went to see Willie Morrow, he pulled out this drawer of like hundreds of different strands of our hair, all kinds of different strands. And then when you'd ask him a question, he would go up in his head. You'd see his eyes go up like he's getting the download, and then he shares with us. So we just, all of us, our prayers and our heart goes out to them. I did say something on Facebook. So I want to go on. Thank you so much, Isis. Um, um, let me see, Ari? If you would come and greet us and share a little bit. We keep our shares because we're going to talk a lot. So we want to keep our shares short, sweet, and because I got some questions that is going to take us on into this industry. Brother Ari?
Yes.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
First thing I want to do.
That's my Bible right there.
Also,
yeah,
I was trying to find,
yeah.
Also, I was trying to find the small book, the first book he published, 400 Years Without a Comb. I can't put my hand on it right now. I want to share some. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. And thank you so much for having me on today. Goddess Queen Isis, you are awesome. Everything I say now, I could just repeat some of the things you say, but I want to share this. 1975, I got in my car. I was in Seattle, Washington. I drove to San Diego and I met Willie Morrow. And I became a follower of everything. I already studied about him in some of the first publications he did. The first one was Styling Negro's Hair. And I studied that and I know about all this history about it. How he went to the military and went all over the world teaching how to barbers, how to deal with our hair. My connection with Willie Morrow was very spiritual because I went to him, I wanted to be a follower and I wanted him to mentor me. And at that time, I just started really doing artistic, scientific way to deal with our hair, Afro hair. I didn't just cut around even Afro. I did asymmetric, geometrical, bi-level. I did all kinds of things with our hair. Because at that time I was studying advanced hairstyling with Euro-Americans hair. And so I began to use this science dealing with our hair and dealing with the Goddess Queen said about the fact that our hair had its own natural volume. And so then I began to realize that once you pick that hair out all evenly over the head, it's like a soft solid because all those hairs are associated with one another. So rather than using my fingers and combing, I use the pick and I use scissors and clippers as a sculpting tool to sculpt the hair to these hairstyles. So I went to Willie Morrow. At that time, I had a portfolio, and I went to Willie Morrow and I showed him the portfolio, and I said, I would like to be the person that speaks for you. I shared this with him. I said, the only person I know that can say I'm the greatest and be accepted was Muhammad Ali. And even when he said it, some people hated him for saying it, but he would prove it, do a poem, and then say, I'm gonna get you in 4, and he'd do it. So it was just, you couldn't challenge him. Well, I said to Willie Morrow, I will be that person that will tell the world, you are the greatest, you are the grandfather of this whole thing. You started the whole thing. So he said to me, I'm going to go to the Bond Brothers show. I go to the Bond Brothers show every night, I do a presentation. At that time, the first product he had was called not the California Curl, but Morrow's Curly Hair Products. And it was designed to, in terms of product application, to not alter the texture of our hair, but to enhance the health of the hair, to be nutritional, and products that actually could be used in a way that enhanced our hair. So I told him I would do so. He said, I would like for you to come to the show and represent me in 1977. So I went to Bond Brothers show, I got on the platform, and I kept saying I would use, because I said to him, I am like what Malcolm X was to Muhammad Ali, Elijah Muhammad. I will be that to you. So the Honorable William Morrow teaches us before I said anything. And then I would share the text I had about it, which I called sculptures. And so we did this thing. And then after that, I was constantly connected to him, talking to him long distance, constantly we're sharing, because we were actually born the same month. I was born October 6th, and he was born October 9th. So even the fact that we were both Libras, and we both had this disconnection spiritually. And I stayed with that for a long time until he started getting into the California curl. Once he started getting to that, I just kind of kept with the natural thing. I didn't want to alter our hair with chemicals. And so we kind of drifted apart, but we still were communicating. Every once in a while, we would communicate with each other. So I'm so feeling so. And yesterday, there was a strange vibe going on. And now I know why, because him and I are connected spiritually. But I want to share something in regards to how I got started with this whole movement in our hair. Was I was Delta Airlines, one of the base cities was Seattle, Washington. And so at that time, this was like in the early 70s, when there was this pushback with the flight attendants, the African-American flight attendants, because they weren't allowed to wear their braids. So it was a big pushback. They were able to change that. But that was one of the first times that this happened. And then after that, one of my blessings was that I joined the Braiders Guild. And then I got my first award actually was from the Braiders Guild. And then I had many awards after that, but the very first one, and I really cherished that I was connected, because I was the only man in the group, because at that time, braiders were basically women. And they formed this organization based on that, based on this whole thing about acceptance and the fact that you would have to go to cosmetology school and study all these techniques and pass this state board to become a cosmetologist so you can legally do this, when it had made no sense at all, because you would not use any of these techniques, none of them. And the fact that they could have that authority over us. So that's how this whole thing started, how with the braids, that because they were forced to, and as you said, Goddess Queen Isis, that you were even in that situation where you were being penalized. And I want to share something what you mentioned about our hair. Our hair was criminalized to wear it natural. Laws were said, you cannot do this. And so we had to go through that state by state to be recognized and destroy that criminalization of our hair. And so we had to fight to make it legal to wear our hair natural. I just want to back up on that with you, Goddess Queen.
Not just to do hair, but to wear our hair.
Wear it.
Right.
You know, you're committing a crime by wearing this hair. So that is something I want to share and kind of piggyback on what Goddess Queen Isis brought. But I just want to tell you.
Can I say something? Can I say something? I want to say something.
To name that book Our Crown.
Narada, can you hear me?
Recognize that. Yeah, and there's a thing that Goddess Queen, she's from Seattle. I mean, she lived in Detroit for a while. Jill Pooker.
Oh yeah, Jill Pooker. Yeah.
Excellent video. It's a little short video on the phenomena of our hair in terms of that panel.
She used to be my client. She sat in my chair for years, and she taught me so much. I love her. I visited with her doing her hair in Dallas at her mom's place and at my shop. Yeah, I'm October 7. I wanted to say that really quickly. You're October 6.
I just turned 8.
You're powerful. You're powerful. You're divine.
I want to share this. Every single strand of hair individually is connected to every single system in our body, to the root and the hair follicle. One of the main ones is the nervous system. So that's our matrix, that nervous system throughout our entire body. And every single strand of hair is hooked into that matrix. From the top of our head to the toes of our feet. And so that whole thing about criminalizing our hair, abusing with chemicals, this was part of disconnecting us from the cosmos. And we're receiving, and my blessing is, I just want to share this one thing, and I'll turn it over, because I don't want to. My blessing is that I cared for the hair of African-American women that were wearing it natural, which to me are the seers. They're the visionaries. They're the teachers. They have the original code in their DNA. And they taught me by standing behind that chair. I'm bringing a book out about that. Standing behind that chair and educated because I would listen. Because a lot of us men would not listen to our women, even conscious men. You know, it's this male thing. You don't know, you're a woman. But I'm blessed because I listened. The reason why I listened is because when I was in beauty school, the first thing I read was that this was a place we called them patrons and would come to be relaxed, be rejuvenated, pampered. I looked around at school. That, what was happening was pain, trauma.
Yes, yes.
And then it was accepted. Like many elders, this would say to younger Black women or girls, it hurts to be beautiful. That damage.
Yeah.
Mental thing with this. I can get deeper into that, but there's a mental thing. And so I was always trying to heal. And then when I had a numerological chart done, and I got the name Arishin, and I went into the hieroglyphic dictionary and it said, hairdresser to the court. And the brother that did that chart for me said that means royalty. So in the ancient times, you were a hairdresser to royalty. But it wasn't just hair, like you were talking about, Sister Isis. We were healers, we were alchemists. We formulated, and we do that now, unknowingly. We do that now. In our hands are hands of light. When we touch their hair, we're dealing with that whole psychological healing. And so when I realized that, I became responsible to that. I really, because when I was in beauty school, I would burn their hairs.
We got to bring some of our other guests and then we can continue the conversation. Because at 80, you have a lot to say.
I'd just like to interject very quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Nawili.
Good day. Good day. Blessings to everyone. I'm Nawili. Yes. So what I'd like to share is based on our beloved Willie Morrow making his peaceful, blissful transition, is I'd like to do a chant, very short, very brief. It's what we do in yoga tradition for 17 days after a person is transitioning, moving into the ancestral realm. And it is calling forth through the vibration of sound, their peaceful transition. And so if everyone just take a moment to be silent, I'm just gonna do it for 1 minute. And if you wanna join in, and the blessing and the vibration is a call, A-K-A-L. So I'm setting my timer for 1 minute. And I'm closing my eyes. A call. A And so it is. Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Willie Morrow.
Who's that calling on him? Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
mentor.
Yes. My mind was
What are you
somewhere else.
thinking about?
Ashe, Ashe. So I want to hear from Sharice was on here, has been on here. I want to thank you for being my active Elizabeth today. And then we'll hear from Brother Kafele. Sharice, go ahead.
Oh, hello, everybody. I'm Sharice Stevens, and I have a salon and training center in Detroit for natural hair. Let me see if I could turn it up. Am I down too low? Okay. And I got into this industry. So thing is, I've always been in the industry. So I started probably about 8 or 9 braiding. And this, my aunt, she was like, bought me one of those Kenya Barbie heads with the hair that went inside the body and you had to pull the hair out, but it was just the head. And I was always into something. And she's like, you know what? Here, do her hair. Not knowing at the time that my great grandmother was a cosmetologist. I didn't meet my great grandmother. She died of cancer. So my grandmother was always, and my aunts would just give me this dial over and over. So I learned at a young age to braid like amazing. Like I braid. The braiding part is amazing. I mean, I've worked at African shops and I love my African sisters and brothers, and they always like, where did you learn to braid? And I'm always like, I've been braiding as long as I can remember. But I didn't want it. It wasn't an industry for me. It wasn't a choice for me. The way some of you, I kind of fell into it. And when I fell into it, you know, it's been my calling ever since. So I'm trained, my degree is in marketing and mass communication technology. So I went to school for that, and I thought I was going to be the next Oprah. That was my inspiration.
Mhm.
I wanted to be in high school and middle school. All I did was talk. If you see my, I had straight A's from elementary through college, but I'm a great student, and I'm so happy and grateful for you guys. You know, here on this panel, my elders, because I'm a great student, and I love to learn. I love to absorb knowledge. I have a huge collection. I probably not know more than you guys. A huge collection of African American books, African history, African philosophy, African theology. So I say that to say this. Sometimes I think it chooses you.
Mhm.
And it's not something that I would have said. I used it as a hustle. And a lot of young girls that I teach, I say it's fine. You know, everybody is not going to do this forever or have branches of it, or, you know, I have a product line now as well. But everybody is not going to take this forever. It could be a stepping stone, but it is an honored profession. I think that sometimes I remember falling into this industry by my God, I lost everything in the housing collapse. So, you know, the mortgage industry, that's how young the mortgage industry, you know, fell apart. I had a mortgage company. I went from being upper middle class to poor in a matter of 2 months.
Mm.
And but I always knew how to braid. And I didn't know anything about locks at the time, but I knew how to braid. And so I used the braiding to get back on my feet. I used the braiding to get some communion with other women, to feel nostalgic about my childhood, to feel good about myself, because I didn't know what else I was going to be able to do at the time. Housing, the market industry for communications, I hadn't done much in communications, in the way of communications, for such a long time. It would take a while for me to get into that, but I can move from place to place, from salon to salon. And I went to these ladies, to my elders, to my peers, and I asked them, could I braid? Could I make some money? And I never was turned away. So the unity that I feel in this industry is the most beautiful feeling of any, I would say, any profession I've ever been in. And networking, but mostly just the genuine love for each other. And so after that, I started working for myself. And when I started working for myself, I had just got trained to do locks. And I remember people coming to me saying that they were getting their hair done at Nefertiti's, that they were getting their hair done at Everett's, and they were getting their hair done at all these places that I would never in my years think that I would be as I was inspired by. But I would never say like, oh my God, I'm even to this day, I always tell everybody, like, those are my mentors, whether they know it or not, because that was something that I looked forward to. Even the rest in peace, even Happy to be Nappy. I didn't know anything about this stuff. Not the ancestral part, not the locks, not the goddess braids, and when I started getting more and more into it, I started picking up books I never would have read. It started me down a journey of self-enlightenment. And I think that for some of us, we don't understand that it changes you mentally to do what we do. It changed me from being, I guess, looking for material, not just I'm successful now, but not material things in the matter of false hair and false eyelash. I wear eyelashes, I wear nails, but I redefine my beauty. And when I redefined my beauty and accepted my beauty with my natural hair, I was able to see the beauty in every other woman of African descent in their natural hair. I was no longer robbed of my idea of beauty. And the books I picked up, the philosophy, I picked up a wonderful book called The Melanin, The Key to Greatness. If you guys wanna, and that showed me that the melanin that's in our hair, the melanin that's in our skin is electric. So I think that the more with this industry, we have to, what I do at my shop is make it where everyone in the shop has to have natural hair and that to work there. And everybody say oh, you shouldn't do that. It's discrimination. I want them to understand what they're getting their hands into. I want them to understand what they're doing. You can't understand that for me without going through it. It's like any other journey. How can you help the client without having gone through it? Because we are so self, what do you call it? Self, like, I'm trying to get the word, self-concerned about our hair. Black women come in so not just ashamed, but ignorant about their hair. And they have been taught from such a young age to hate their hair. Our hair has been criminalized, covered up. And I think that they're so used to that, that when it's a breath of fresh air to go to any of our shops and to have someone tell you, on my wall, it says, your hair is good. And it says that because I get tired of hearing I have bad hair. Girl, you ain't never seen this hair this bad. Girl, my hair bad. Or girl, they sit their daughters in my chair and say, her hair just bad. And you gotta speak over her. Her hair is not bad. You know, I put it on the wall as a reminder. Your hair is not bad. Your hair hasn't done anything to you. You have done something to it. You have to cultivate it. You have to nourish it. You have to love it, like every other part of your body. And without loving it, you will get dysfunctional hair. So we don't call it bad. The hair is acting up right now because it's not getting what it needs. But for me, this has I started at 33 professionally, and I'm 45. I have 2 locations, a lot of students, hair product line. But the best thing about my job is that I love going to work. I'm never upset about going to work.
Yeah.
I'm upset when I can't go to work. I'm upset when I have to cancel. I'm upset when I can't help somebody, because everybody in my chair, I am there to help. And I may not be able to help them spiritually as Miss Isis, but I know that I can breathe some love into each one of my people and let them know that they are loved.
Spiritually right there.
There is love.
Yeah, that's spiritual right there. Love.
We get to the point there that we also let it be known that it's okay to have these ideas about your hair. It's okay. This is a place of freedom of expression. But it's also my job, like she said, I pull out books, it's my job to educate you. And I take that seriously. I'm not just in this to braid. I'm not just in this to do locks. I'm in this to empower not only the women that work for me, but for all the clients. 50% of my clients are males, 50% of my clients are female. But I tell you what, the males are much more accepting of their hair. I have less building up to do on the male energy. They come in, they talk so much good into their hair. I know I'm not the only one that see that male energy, the hair, unless they going through male pattern baldness, their hair just grows, just sprouts out their head like a chia pet, just grows. And it's all the way down to the floor most of the time, unless they ask to get it cut. It's just long and luxurious. And I know that's partly hormonal as well, but a lot of women come in, and I do believe that until they start to change, and that's what I do. I teach them. I have so many clients that say I've changed how they think about their hair. And in this industry, that's our job. They said, what is our job? To change the years of trauma and abuse, and the fact that we are beautiful with a bald head, with gele on your head, with hair wrap. We are beautiful, and there is no need everything is a choice, but there is not a need.
Thanks.
And by teaching them that there's no need to change their hair, but only a way to nourish their hair, and that their hair can be managed, and that your hair can be styled, I empower. And I love that about this industry. And I love that about my profession.
Thank you, Sharice. Ashe. I've watched her grow, and she's so respectful to us. And this girl, and what she does for the community is awesome. You know, she's always having something and bringing all the children and the family in to share her gifts with them. So thank you, Sharice. Thank you.
There's one more note. I know I gotta go. I have never met Queen Isis, but hi, how are you, Miss Brantley? And just a note, a sidebar, is that when I saw what you were going through in Texas, it inspired me. I was upset. I've sent you so many clients because a lot of my clients moved to Texas, to where you were. But I also I did a curriculum, and I got my license in Detroit because of what you were going through. Because I came up and created a whole way to get my natural hair license through an apprenticeship, an old loophole. So I didn't have to go to cosmetology school, but I have a license, and it's all because of you.
Ashe. Can't hear you, Isis. Respond quickly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in my school. I've trained before the school, even when everything was going on in Texas. I've trained 3,500 women. A lot of my apprentices and now natural hair gurus are in like Chicago, New York, but I've been training since '82. Taking women off the street, showing them exactly my curriculum and what I did as them when I was without, when I grew up having children and needing more than welfare. I showed them what I did, and they became very, very, very professional entrepreneurs right to this day. But my school also will not, it's a priesthood school, so it's totally different. I don't want any type of connection to licensing any kind of way other than the way I'm inspired to do it. My inspiration. So it's a little different from everybody else's, and I respect everybody, and I'm so happy for everyone to have set up their own curriculum, their natural hair, braiding curriculum, and doing exactly what the ancestors want us to do. I just think everybody is doing a magnificent job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to keep moving. And Deetra, you've got something quick?
Yeah, real quick. I first of all, and say thanks to all the speakers thus far. I am truly inspired by what you've done and what you've shared today. But I wanted to thank Sharice, especially what you just shared, because it reminded me of being young, and always when I get my hair washed, of course, it curls all up and everything, and I want to get it pressed out. But now I can actually wear it curly or braid it however I want to. And wonderfully, my children, I have 2 sons, and they like me with my braids. They'll say, "Mom, we need to go natural." I'm like, okay, so it's a beautiful thing. And I just seen the change, and I appreciate it. So thank you all. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brother Kafele.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm trying to find you. You're on camera, right?
I am on camera.
Okay, let me see. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
I'm sorry. What did you want me to say?
I want you to greet us and basically, who you are, and we're talking about where the industry is now and where we want it to go. And then we're going to move on, but just 1 second. I want to release. We love you, Facebook. We love you, Zoom, but it's after 9 o'clock and we're going to close our social media and we're going to only reside and continue this conversation in the Zoom room. So if you go to elizabethvisionaryconference.org, you can hit and get your ticket there and just come on in and join us. And you can use that same ticket from now on. So thank you and peace out. So yeah, so that's what we're talking about.
So you can hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I'm trying to find you. No matter where you are, I'll find you.
I'm the light-skinned guy that
There you are.
figures
Look for the
to do
green
that.
box. Light skin. You light skinned it? Go ahead, my brother.
First, I want to say rest in peace to Willie Morrow.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes.
Job well done. My name is Tondo Kafele. Before I start speaking about anything, I want to say thank you to every single natural hairstylist, weave artist, braider, barber, loctician, anybody who's been a contribution to this natural hair game. I am who I am because of you. It's always about gratitude for me and honoring those before me and those who poured into me. My name is Tondo Kafele. I am a student, a mentee of the natural hair directly of Ademola Mandela and Mr. Oren Saunders. My mentoring is very different because I was mentored by two Black men in this industry. And I continue to carry a baton to inspire all Black men in natural hair because so often we are not included in the conversations. And I would like to keep us there. Who I say I am in this industry is contribution. I am a natural hair militant. I never went to cosmetology school, and I am against the gentrification of our culture. I reside in Brooklyn, New York. I currently have a group called Team Black. They are a group of professionals from different parts of the United States, and Team Black. Black represents beauty, love, art, cuts, and comedic. They are a group of professionals on the board of barbering, cosmetologists who created curriculums, and we are in the attempt of creating a natural hair curriculum from a cultural and spiritual foundation. Everything in a natural hair curriculum, in my opinion, should not be from a technical point of view. Some things should be spiritual and some things should be ethical, like coming on and saying thank you and giving homage. A lot of the millennials today don't know much about anything that was before them. And so I hope I get an opportunity to teach them Sankofa, that what was in their past is relevant to their future. And I just want to say thank you for inviting me to this conversation. I can't believe that I'm probably looked at as one of the elders now in this industry, at the young age of 54. But to be included by the icons and elders of this industry who have accepted me, thank you.
Ashe. Okay, well, thank you. Nefertiti, Detroit. Now you're in Kafele, you're in New York, right? Are you in Brooklyn?
I'm in Brooklyn, and I just want to say I love you, Nefertiti. Isis and Alan, you already know. But Nefertiti, I love you and miss you.
Okay, Nefertiti, let me find you and bring you down. You want to say something so I can find you, Nefertiti? Or did you walk away?
Yeah, Sheila, she thanked you for including her in the meeting, but she had to go to a meeting.
Oh, okay, okay. Good. Trying to make sure that I get everything. Okay, now really, you want to share about your, now really moved here to Detroit recently. Yeah, I think it's almost been a year, and in an art program. She can tell you more about that. But then as I learned about her, we have similar, so many things that are alike. I didn't know she braided. I thought when she said she braided hair, you know, she does here and there and stuff. But this sister go back to LA and spend 10 days trying to catch up with everybody's head. You know, they're still attached to her. And so I realized that we've probably passed one another in different conferences, the Braiders Guild, New York, when we went there, we probably passed each other many times and didn't know that we would actually meet and become very, very good friends. She's very dear to my heart. And other things in art. So I wanted her to share some of her experiences as it relates to natural hair and where she sees the industry as a whole.
Okay. Good day. Thank you, sister. I love you too. So my journey began doing hair about age 19. Seeing my friend's sister do other people's hair, and then she braided my hair, and I looked in the mirror and decided I'd go home and make my brother my model for life. So of course I started out doing some basic cornrows on his hair, and so beautifully a time for me because that was my becoming African woman, my history, my culture. So of course, like most of us, it started as my cultural identity statement, move, my groove, my everything. Had my nose pierced, 10 holes on each ear. You know, I was totally immersed in a lot of things that I felt identified me as who I really was. So from there, went to college at UCLA and met this woman, Malakia. Found out she was teaching a braiding course at one of our local cultural centers called Inner City Cultural Center, which at that time, all of the actors and actresses who were honing their skills were coming through Inner City Cultural Center. So they had braiding classes, acting, dance, everything you could think of. So I took the bus from UCLA at night, which was a stretch for me, and came and took her class. So after taking the class, I knew that something had been laid in my lap, in my heart, that I was to become a guardian of this art form. And of course, I'm gonna just backtrack. My mom is a professional cosmetologist, and my aunt, who also raised me as a teacher. So being in that household, I decided neither one of those things would I ever, ever, ever do in my life. Of course, watch what you say. Here, I'm still doing hair. My 51 years, I read 54 years. So that's like 105 years of, you know, just being guardians, being passionate about something so beautiful that supports us and spiritually grows us each and every day. So after I took the course, back in the day in California, under Malakia, and there were a few of us that she taught, we were the innovators, the influencers of small hair braiding. So our focus was, and my focus became, I'm going to braid as small as a pen. And we were all into the goddess feel by embellishing our hair with crystals, gemstones, you name it, every bead, every copper wire. So I had learned also from her, was introduced to basic African thread wrapping, which became kind of one of my signatures, and a zigzag pattern. And there were some other things that came through me, to me, which I knew I was supposed to celebrate and share with the world. So, so I have been embracing the art form and quietly and humbly doing my work, enjoying it, still very passionate about it. And back in the day, of course, we were told, don't tell anybody that I did your hair, because they're going to come and knock on your door and kick your door in. Then you're going to get in trouble and arrested. So I started basically in the 70s. So I saw like Cecily Tyson and the person who did her hair, Omar, out of California. And what I have noticed and was grateful to embrace is that I got to go to places like Chicago and to Washington, D.C. Back in the day, there was a symposium one day at the Smithsonian Institute, and it invited people who were braiders to come and present. And it's archived in the Smithsonian Institute. And it was called, my subject was the aesthetics of small hair braiding. So if you get a chance, I'm sure that information may be available, but I think Pam Farrell, a lot of different people were there, and it was beautiful because it connected us, because sort of kind of I felt on the West Coast, we were like kind of, and maybe this is in mind, separated from what was going on in the Midwest and the East Coast. And so one day I had an idea, my student and my beloved Fauna, who's a magnificent braider, she's in DC. She not only braids, she's a barber. And so she does the barbering and sculpting, the braiding and wrapping and beading. Her work is beyond. I'm so grateful for her. And so what I wanted to say is that at a point in my life, I met Fauna. She was living in Los Angeles. She comes from Kentucky. And I took her under my wing. She already knew how to braid. So a few things, and just us hanging and aligning with our highest vision for what we wanted to do and see kept us going. So I put together my own tour, one-way ticket to Lexington, Kentucky, with Fauna and another sister. We braided in the parks, gave out cards, did hair, moved from Kentucky to Chicago to Milwaukee, ended up in DC, which Fauna never left. So those places we were able to exchange and plant our seeds of what we brought from the West Coast and what we felt needed to be shared, because we were all on one accord. There was really no difference. And so what I've seen in like Brother Kafile, is that his name, said, that piece, that Sankofa piece is so important in the industry. I love what the young people do. I love their vitality, their energy, their quick brain, their goddess braids, big braids, faux locks. I love all the innovation, but I also am holding the high watch for that way that they know upon whose shoulders they stand, and that they align with that so that they can even catapult themselves and go further. I've worked in a few shops and had great experience with what it is in a more professional setting, because I had children. So a lot of my early work was done with my children at my feet in my house, so that I could take care of them, their needs. And so at this point, where it's going, I feel like I will hold the high watch, whatever is the highest good for everyone. And my yogic practice now of 21 years has me in a space that knowing that it is ancestral. We are rooted in so much richness and wealth, but we also have a charge to go forth in integrity for ourselves and for everyone else who we're involved in. And so I feel going forth, my place is, I love doing the work, but I also want to be the place holder and just stand in and stand in. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm here. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Regards to that, we have committed to partner up and use our 105 years of experience to help heal our nation.
Ashe.
Thank you.
Ashe. Let me see. Thank you, Nawili.
Asante, thank you.
And then I think we have one more that was on the initial panel, and then I want to go into what I see, the state of the union, right? What I see for the industry itself. Fana, I know she's driving. Let me see if I can find her. She's still with us. There she is. Fana, you want to share? Unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I said, did you want to share?
Yes, I am Fana. I'm been braiding hair since since a child. I learned how to braid hair back in Kentucky on the back porch. Sister named Charmaine Fields taught me how to braid. We're sitting and just plaiting and braiding each other's hair. But I never really kind of cornrowed in Kentucky. I used to comb everyone's hair because I could always part really good, and my symmetry was always good with hair. My grandmother is a cosmetologist as well, so I guess it's in the DNA as well. But I never really used my cornrow skill a lot.
Pull your camera back. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, never really used the cornrow skill a lot in Kentucky. I used to mostly just comb little girls' hair. And so I always had my hair, my grandmother was a cosmetologist, so my hair was curved a lot, from young. And so by the time I got to be teenage years, of course, it had all damaged out. And from the repetitiveness of the chemicals in my hair. And so went through high school, and then I left Kentucky, graduated early out of high school. So I left Kentucky and went to Los Angeles with my aunt, which would be a trip that was, because I got out of high school early. So went out there just to go out there and hang out with her because nobody had ever visited her. And my hair was, like I said, damaged, and she used to fuss at me all the time and like, you got to do something, And I'm trying to say, no, I'm not cutting my perm out. So finally she convinced me to come to Nawili. Nawili is renowned in LA for braiding. And so she, I don't know if she had her hair braided or she just knew who Nawili was, but she took me to Nawili to get my hair braided. And that's the first time I ever had my hair braided professionally. And the very first time that Nawili and I met, it was kind of like love at first sight, really. We talked about the fact that I would come back and help her braid hair, and because she was always so busy. So she said, one of these days when I get busy, I'm gonna call you now. I'm gonna remember that you said that you're gonna come back. And so when she really did call me back, I was scared. I was like, oh no, stumbling and everything. And so I did go back and do her hair because I was just really in LA with my aunt, not doing nothing during the day. And my very first head, I got an A on. I really was very proud, and I was too. I mean, I beaded it and everything. And that was it happened like that, and the rest is history from that. And I caught on very easily. I mean, God has blessed me with a very creative spirit and creative energy. So my braiding became up to par, like right away, like off the top. And just like Nawili said, the very first time we talked about, we talked about manifesting this tour that we ended up collectively putting on and going across country. And we didn't even know anybody. We just left LA, was gone for 4 months and just done the thing by ourselves. And our hair was so different and our style was so unique, and still is to this day. No one does what we do. I'm not being bragging or arrogant, but really, I've not seen what we do anywhere. Like we done it on the East. I mean, like we done it on the West Coast.
Pull your
So-
camera back.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've not seen, I'm still not seeing the work. And so the tour, after the tour, like I really mentioned, we went to my hometown, Kentucky. We went to Chicago, Wisconsin, and we came to DC really just to chill out and rest. And we ended up braiding hair too because our hair was so sharp. Everybody, who did your hair? Who did your hair? So we put out a couple of heads. And again, the rest is history. And so by then, and we had been gone for like 4 months, and Nawili had her baby boy Mosi with us, and it was time for her to go back. And the Spirit told me to stay. I said, I'm not going back. I ain't know nobody in DC other than the people that we were staying with, but Spirit told me to stay in DC. And I told Nawili them I'd catch up with him later in LA, and that would never happen. It never did happen. And called my mom up and said, I'm staying in DC. She said, you're not staying in DC. You're going back to LA, or bring your butt home, because what are you doing at 17 telling me you ain't coming back home? But I didn't go back home. And like I said, the rest is history. So I've really made a big name for myself. I went to barbering school, and like Nawili said, I incorporated a whole different genre with the hair, with the barbering. I mean, no one was doing that before I done it with, like collaging the head with the barbering and the braiding and the beading and the wrapping. Started that in barbering school. Started the lines and everything, because I remember my barber instructor was like, you really want to, I said, cut a line in my head. It was a pyramid. And they was like, no, you're going to cut a line in your head and your scalp like that? And I did. So he can attest to that. They can attest. I started that at Armstrong Vocational School, where I went to barbering school for free, and started that whole thing. So been braiding hair, and I've been braiding hair, stayed braiding hair in DC for like many, many years. Still do. I still do it from time to time. I went to school, and I'm a culinary chef now as well. So still an artist through the food and the juicing, and still loving it as much as I've loved it from day one. Been around the world. I orchestrated a braiding tour, took braiders to Dakar, Senegal, to West Africa, did an international braiding seminar, bringing braiders together from all over the world, doing seminars for a week. And then we did a big show at the end of the week, and the mayor proclamated it and documented us and everything. It was fine. That was way back in like 83, I think. And through that, I was named first International Braider of the Year, which was a great thing for me too. I was happy for that, and I was blessed for that. But didn't know technology. We had no cell phones. We just went over there on the blind side on the fly and done that. And it came out. Me and a sister named Gaynell Henderson. She was the tour guide, and so that just happened just on the fly. So I love braiding, and I'm gonna stop. I'll never stop. I thank Nawili for God using her as a conduit to come into my life and bring what He had already given me out. I'm not sure that it would have came out had I stayed in Kentucky. So I thank God for her. She and I continue and will always be friends. I love her more than anything. And thank God for her. And we're doing yoga now together. She's inspired me to do yoga. We do yoga. I think today is like close to our 60th day straight doing yoga. So that's a good meditative spirit. And Aduni joins us. And so life is good now. And where I see braiding going now,
Okay,
I'm not sure. I'm seeing so many young ladies with this extension hair and seeming to not love their own hair. And a lot of these young ladies have,
okay, Fana,
you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Aduni?
Yeah, and we have to go to the next hot topic.
Okay, go ahead. I'm in East West Virginia mountains, but go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I learned a lot more about you.
Okay, thank you.
So I invited you all on here to talk about the natural hair industry. And even though I see it's 9:45, the good thing is that we're not having to pay for this, so we can continue the conversation even after 10, because I really want to get into about the natural hair industry. And I know that many people have different organizations around the world. Everybody's coming together in their own areas and creating. Let me get her off of here, and creating programs that would help. I'm trying to get her off of here. Let me see, just one second. Let me concentrate on this. There we go. So I want to share my vision of the natural hair industry, not just an organization, but the industry. And what I have experienced, especially the trials and the tribulations of braiding and natural hair and the natural hair, health and beauty. One time I was saying, I was walking down the street talking about natural hair, health and beauty, natural hair, health and beauty. And the spirit stopped me and said, no, it's natural hair, natural health, natural beauty. So the emphasis is on the natural for your lives, for our lives and such. So what I see as an industry, I know that I know New York is in the midst of dealing with the licensing. That was one of the first license that was created for the industry, in the industry, shall I say, for New York. And then it came to other states, and Michigan was one. That's where I'm at, in Michigan. And in our school, in our state, and I was one of the key people working on that. And I had Talabdeen Upda and Pamela Farrell assisting me, and Talabdeen in particular would come and go to the cosmetology board and all that stuff and work with me. And so our license here in the state of Michigan is voluntary and not mandatory. And it came like that because one of the, he was a Republican, and he said, we know nothing about their hair. We know nothing. So they went against the House, and so it was a tie. So those, and our basis was that it's our culture, and it's spiritual to us. And we brought all that information forth. And the Board of Cosmetology was trying to hold on to it. Now, let me tell you, there is no money being made for us getting a license or not getting a license. You have to pay one time a year or twice every 2 years. I think in Michigan is every 2 years. And you pay like $48 per year, and that's it. So there's not money. What it is with the Board of Cosmetology, or the board and the other organizations that support that, is power. They want to have power over us. So, well, we wasn't going to go for that, but and what I was going for was to be able to license people in having their own, being able to have their own license separate from the cosmetologist. All right. Well, we managed to do that, but what I was going after was not just for salons that you could have your own salon, but that we could have our own school separate. And what they did was they made it that I would have to open a full cosmetology school, and the braiders, the cultural, natural hair culturists would be in the midst of that. That is not what I wanted, you know. So, anyway, and the reality of that, and I'm going to say that without facts, but I believe with all my heart that the reality of that was in Michigan, in the state of Michigan, the reality is that in the schools, because I opened up a cosmetology school just so I could teach the natural hair. We taught manicuring, we taught everything, but in the natural hair, there in other schools, there was not enough students to take care and pay for an instructor for the year round. We didn't have enough students to do that. There was not the support of finances so that they could get grants and all of that. In the accreditation, they did not recognize, they didn't know what to do with natural hair. You know, it was cosmetology. That's what they understand. They're white. That's what they understand. And so we always have to be pushing against that. Okay. And then the community did not come and create, you know, the financial support for these people who wanted, mostly women but they didn't support in that way because of everybody struggling to do whatever they're doing. I don't think that I mean, just in the fact that they're not giving anything, that's something that we can control. When I say that natural hair industry, I'm thinking of what do we pass down to the next generation? Do we pass down that they're still stuck in a system that is not for them? Or do we, and I believe that we are responsible as the elders to leave an industry intact for finances, for support of opening up other salons, support of opening up schools, support in that whole world, that we should have our own industry. We should leave that. We should leave that just like Willie Morrow left all that information and the setup for his daughter. And I don't know if he has other children, but they take it and keep moving with that. And so those who come up under them, it's already set. I believe that our history, we should write more books, write many curriculums. Isis has her way of teaching. Kafele has his way of teaching. I believe Diane Bailey is on, and we used her books in our training. So Pamela Farrow is writing more books. There's more scientific study of our hair, alopecia, all of that stuff. We should, as an industry, I'm going to use the word control, but we as an industry should be able to have that for generations after we're gone. So I believe that we should come together as an industry with all the autonomies in the midst of that. You teach it in a way, but there should be some standards of the minds coming together for an industry that we leave for our children. So here's a structure for the spiritual teaching. Here's a structure for the food. I had Queen Afua come here, and she was at our shop and teaching. And we were talking about creating the curriculum around food. And so that when we talking to our clients, our stylists are educated on what to tell them, not guessing, but because it's in our training and what to do holistically to keep our body in shape, to heal our bodies, to understanding, like, I don't know who somebody said about we are laying hands, that was Ari, we are laying hands on people. So you got to understand that your spirit should be right. So as an industry, we go after money. As an industry, we go after grants and whatever the finances are. As an industry, the books that have been written, there's a place where you can go and find all of that. As an industry, you can go find that book, any book about our hair, any book about the way we live and blah, 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 all of that, our culture and our history.
No matter what.
Okay, yes. So that's where my stand is, that we as an industry created a wherewithal where the resources, the information, there's a place that we can go to that is ours. It's ours. It is created by us. We are not up under anyone. When it came to me dealing with the board of cosmetology, I was just like, there's no way I'm going to teach you how to govern me. There's no way. And what they said in ours was that we got that taken out, but that a cosmetologist would have to be in the salon. So she may know nothing about what we're doing, but just the fact that she was a cosmetologist, she could be the manager of the salon. So we had to come against that. We were coming against little stupid things like, who's going to teach them how to answer the phone? Like, what? Are you kidding? Answer the phone, the basics of life. Your mama taught you how to answer the phone, so that the little things that they was coming up with was really ridiculous. That we would want to get a license so that we can do cosmetology things because it was shorter. It was only 400 hours versus 1,200 hours. Just ridiculous stuff. And so I was glad when the senator said, we know nothing about what they do. We know nothing. And so they voted against making us having to get that type of license. But like I said, you can't open a school, a separate school. So, you know, of course, I did it anyway. Like many of you, you do it anyway, because it is ours. It is ours. And there's in the secretarial world, because I want to show you the comparison. In the secretarial world, in the secretarial world, there's a course that you can take as a secretary or administrator that is so high in skill that no matter where you go, you don't have to take nobody's test because you have gone through the highest level of training that you don't have to do that. Why can't we as an industry create that? Why can't we create that for ourselves so that people can look for, even in your own way of teaching. So everybody has their way of teaching, their school and stuff, but there's that we come together and what needs to be in your curriculum, what is necessary, what are the foundations of what we do, what is the foundations of what we need to teach and understand in theory. And so I think that that's what we should be able to do. And then there are places as an industry that you can go to get your finances for your, which would mean that you would take the business plan. We would have that, all of that in our own industry. And we could stand strong enough that we could come against the board or anybody who want to come against us because we have it all in there. I know that and talking to Kafele, they were working on the accreditation, on having something where they can be accredited. We have the goods. We have the goods. We can stand alone and say, we got this. We got our children. We got our next generation. We need to leave an industry intact for the next generation to come. I met with all kind of the state and all of them to get funding for my students. I would not have needed any kind of loan as a business if the students were able to pay for their classes. But in our case, I'm blessed to have a family that worked with me. So what we did was we would teach, not get paid, and do hair so we can get paid. Because we knew that in time, well, somebody's got to start doing it. I'm sure many of you who are teaching or are sharing their in different ways and having workshops and such, you're doing that, but you're really making your money doing hair. We got to get past that. We must leave education intact. We must leave our culture intact. And we must have our history. These young people don't know nothing about all you who were talking and those who were not speaking. They don't know. If I walk into a conference right now and say something and say, anybody's name, say Diane Bailey, Kafele, Willie Morrow, Ari Shen, Alan Biggers, they'll be looking at you like you crazy. And I said, wow, I am history now. I'm talking about my own self. So I want us to speak from how can we create that? And I'd like for us to speak from what you bring to the table to make that happen. I do not want to speak to what we don't want. I want us to speak from what we are creating, what we can create, and the responsibility of that to our children that are not even here yet. What books are we gonna have? Some of you write wonderful books. I'm not good at making products. I love baking as it really with food, but I don't bake, but I love the baked food. So somebody can do that. I told Pamela Farrow, you write the book, I'll teach it. But I'm not going to be the one that writes the book, So across the board, we got to have our own industry. The industry is power. The industry is where, like I said, we get grant writers or other things. What do you call it? Anyway, that we would have our own money and we would have our own classes. We'd have, like I said, how to open your own shop. We would partner with Black banks and so that our students can get some finances. If they can go that route, they can get loans. They can get loans to open up their schools, open up their shops. I'm doing a program now where I am working with those who want to open shops, salons, barbershops, or beauty shops, and in particular, well, beauty shops, but in particular, natural hair. I don't care either way, but, and the schools that I will take you through the process of your business plan in order to do that, because we got to come together and we got to stop just doing the, by our own bootstraps. Because if you pulling by your own bootstraps, you're so busy pulling that you can't reach out and do the work that needs to be done. And that we can do, and especially those of us who are in the age of retiring, that one head a day, and some of us, that's what we love to do. But it's time to teach, it's time to write books, it's time to do all of that. The gardening, all of that is in the natural hair industry. The food, the health, the beauty. Okay, so that's my long speech. I'm gonna get off the pedal, the stand, and I just would, like what can you bring to the table is what I want to know. What can you bring? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that? Kafele? I see your.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
So this just came to mind.
I don't see you, though. I don't see you, babe. Come on, film. Come on, camera.
Okay, one second.
Yeah.
Okay. So I never went to cosmetology school, but after hearing this conversation, I kind of see why cosmetology school can be attractive to some people, because there's a certain unity. They walk into an institution that is unified. I've always felt that the natural hair community kind of lacks on the community. I wish and I desire for one day that this industry has the mindset of franchising. I wish that this panel of 20, 30 people could one day be an institution as one group. We talk a good game about unity, but if we went around and asked every 3 people on this panel, how do we support each other? I think that would be a great challenge. I don't see us supporting each other. I don't see us in unity. I think we get together and it feels good and we share our bios and our accolades and our accomplishments. But moving forward, what we do as a unified group, I don't see it happening. When it comes to doing the work, we're not just doing hair, we're doing minds. For natural hair, what I see in the future is that it's just not enough for Black people to teach natural hair. They have to teach it from a cultural perspective. Yes, it's a 2-strand twist, but call it a Nubian twist. Yes, I'm a loctician, but I'm also an African groomer. You can't come to me asking for a French roll. It's an African roll.
Yes.
I want this natural hair industry to speak from a cultural perspective. This gentrification of our culture, the millennials don't know anything about culture. I want them to know that this cornrow style means that only kings in Nigeria on Wednesdays can wear this. I want them to know that locks is the protective style. I want them to know that I want barbers to start putting images of Black women in their barber shops so that Black women can see the beauty of barbering and they don't have a fear of looking like a boy or feeling negative about wearing short hair. I want there to be a group of people who have a desire to be unified. And I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know what that challenge is, but I don't see it in the industry. So thank you for inviting me. I'm tired of sharing my bio. I'm ready to do some real work, and I want to be in a unified collective. That's how I thrive, in a group.
Yeah.
So yeah, I desire that we humble ourselves and we move fearlessly and we step out of our egos and we do something unified and be committed to that.
And I totally agree. But the one statement that is said, and this is on the, if you can't see it, it can't happen. So the first thing is that we have to see it, whatever it takes for that. And I want to say that obviously you do see it because you're bringing people together for that. In our hearts, we want it to be done by a certain time and in a certain way. So the first thing is to see it. And that's why I said, so what are we bringing to the table in order to make that happen? You know, we all know people who have the finances. So I guess the first thing to do is to write down what is it going to take. And we people, so the way I see it is as an industry, there are all kind of different things in the industry in different ways that is being done. But as an industry, that you can have because we're dealing with people, we're dealing with different personalities and different desires and different ways that people see things and different backgrounds and different histories, different pains, different joys. But if there's one, like, I'm careful to use the word supreme, but an industry, there's an industry that can take care of, if you want to do it this way, fine, not just fine, but, you know, as an industry, there are some standards that we want to adhere to, and everybody gets to put in. Those who wants to participate, you get to put your, give your share of what you think should be in there. And then we come up with a consensus of what that is in general, dealing with culture. But what is that? Are there books? What should be involved in that? Who's writing the books? Where are the books? And some of you already know where those books are and what should be included. And let's just say as a picture that there's a website for the natural hair industry. And in that website, or in that building location, the headquarters, you would find the library, you would find the science, you would find all these different things that you can go to, consume in your mind and in your spirit, and then create what you want to create. So yeah, but if we can't see it, it can't happen. No matter how we're trying, we can't see it. I say that the more clearer it gets, where you can see the actual hairpin on the floor that it fell on, that's the closer that you are to bringing forth that vision. it's going to take a lot. We have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of people that are involved. Some are more cultural than others. I did not come from a cultural background. You know, my mom didn't, I just didn't. And when I started braiding hair, I was still pressing and curling and going to getting perms and stuff like that. And then as I started doing hair, and like Cherie said, I had to wear and experience what I was providing for my clients. Then I had to begin to learn about my eating. I had to begin to learn about, you know, my people. I had to begin to learn about my history. And that is where the industry should provide all that information. And it's going to be different because everybody is different. So difference is fine. You will never get all one, you know, because people are going to come from different backgrounds with different agendas, different desires in their heart. Is this a piece you want to share, babe?
Yeah, I hope you guys can hear me. Good morning. I just had a quick question, but you kind of asked it already. And that is like, what do we do about the mindset of the next generation now because of the images that they're taught about their hair? You know, as far as the millennials go, like what are some things that you always suggest we say or do to help encourage the next generation? Because, you know, those bundles to them are real. Okay, them bundles of weave that they buy is a serious thing, and a lot of money is being spent on that industry as far as looking with the long, luxurious, wavy hair and all of that. So as the masters in the industry, what are some things that you always suggest? How can we engage that group? How can we engage young people into loving their hair? You know what I mean? When it's all over social media and it's all over them, that buying a bundle of hair and sewing that in or gluing that in is where it's at.
Someone want to answer that?
I would love to answer that.
Yes.
We have to teach our sisters and brothers that no other hair in the world could possibly look better than the hair that God gave you. There is no possibility that any other hair can be more versatile than the hair that God gave you. We have to have people who are able to communicate these conversations and culture with care. Fake hair is one of the demons in our culture today, where sisters are choosing other people's hair over our own. We have to stay on code. And Sister Sheila, everybody got their own ideas and ideologies, but we have to come to one conversation. Yeah. As long as we have these multiple conversations, it's always going to keep us divided. I want us to be like they do these challenges on social media. I want us to do the challenge to stay on code. I want us to get out of the beauty supply. I want us to take back our industry. Mm-hmm. I want us to I don't have time to talk about fake hair. Mm-hmm. I don't have time to talk about bundles. The elders, why these conversations are happening with the millennials is because us as the elders and the icons are not on social media. We have to bridge gaps with the millennials to get us on TikTok, to get us on these other platforms and to have these conversations. But the millennials don't know because we're not providing the information and the conversations on social media.
I was going to say the same thing. We have to go where they are, and which is social media. We have to put more stuff on there and So we have to use more of our young people that are engaged in their natural hair. We have to celebrate them and promote them and give them other avenues, you know, to put the word out there about how much they love their hair. So yeah, you're right. You have to do it. We have to go where they are, and they are. And many of us like, I don't want to do no TikTok. I don't want to do this, that, and the other. But we have to upgrade ourselves in that social media world, because that's where they're learning everything, you know. And then that age as well, they're in the midst of experiencing, you know, how we were, many of us, you know, we want to experience this. We wear our hair in braids and locks until we get to age of 18, where, okay, now I can do my own things, and I'm gonna cut my hair, color my hair, and I'm gonna perm my hair and all of that, and go through their getting to know themselves as well. What I'm saying as along that is that the industry, having an industry where everybody fits in an industry, where that information is there.
To make a comment.
Pardon me? Somebody's talking?
Yes.
Okay, I get you. Yeah, but as the industry, it is available, the resources and such in order to do that is there, being able to pay young people to come on and keep us on social media, keep different things out there about our natural hair, how we love our natural hair, all of that. Yeah, Ari?
It's okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to share something I've been sharing with a lot of my clients over the years. But you're talking about this organization. I think if we can create an organization, that includes all of us, professionals, if you will, and our clients. Many of us have clients 10,
Yes,
20.
yes.
They understand the importance of us being their hair specialists. So I think if we, under that banner, if we can bring our clients and us into an organization independent of everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we got to do. We got to become independent on our own. We don't need the government. We don't need the state to regulate us. We need to come together as a group. We got 1 million people in America, clients and professionals, in an organization. They can't touch us.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feelings about that.
Yeah.
Create
So
that
it includes
organization that
everybody.
includes
Yeah.
all of us.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what we got to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We stand independent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's a way that we can unify yet still have our own personalities. You know, there's a way to do that. And where there's just a way to do it. And that is what I call the industry itself. And the industry does include the clients. It does include the babies. It does include, and if someone wanted to join the industry that wears their hair straight, they know what they're coming into. That's why they want to come, because they want to learn more. I would tell my clients, I said, go to the natural hair shows, because then you'll see all kind of people, and some of them will look just like you, will have the same kind of head you have. And you can see then, oh man, this is beautiful. Okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready now. I just needed to see that I won't be stuck with how my sister wear her hair. So if it's, when it's open, when it's like I said, that covering, that industry where we all come with our different ideas, and then formulate something that will work for everybody. Mama Oyaba, thanks, Ari, that was wonderful. Yeah. Mama Oyaba?
Yes, it's difficult for me to speak, but I'm going to try to say it is, I'm not quite sure just how it's going to come out. It's difficult for me to speak because, number one, when I first did cornrow in my hair, I did it, that circular one, and what you all are calling natural hairstyles now, it was around 69, 68. I was living in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is the cultural capital, to my way of thinking, in the United States for African American descendant people. And for me, very idealistic. I'm born under the energy of Leo, so I'm real idealistic, and I'm very loyal and very faithful. And when I came up to New York and saw Black people looking like that, I was gonna give up everything for it. And I don't know how to tell y'all this, but my grandmother had 9 daughters, and so beauty parloring was done in the house, in the kitchen, in the living room, wherever they could bring the hot comb to. So when the cornrows and the afro and all of that became a part of our lifestyle, I didn't know it was a hairstyle. I thought we were changing. I thought we were transitioning to taking on and living the ways of our ancestors. I thought all the Black people in America was getting ready to connect to Africa and African culture. And then I started reading. I said, let me do some research on this hair thing. And I started reading how it was part of the women's society for women to come together and do each other's hair. It wasn't called a style. It was their culture or our culture. And then when you're in the women's society and you're in the priesthood and you go through your initiation process, the hair thing was all a part of that. And when my friends started talking about how they had to go get a license and it was now an industry, and it floored me, because in my naive way of thinking, I thought we were all getting ready to become women in the women's society. We were gonna get hooked up with some African women and learn all these things we need to learn. But instead, we created the industry, and the African women came over here and realized, bam, they could make money doing it. That wasn't what it was happening in Africa before. Our sisters over here evolved it into an industry. And I'm not saying that's bad, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that when you approach things from spirituality, from so-called religion, from a cultural perspective, nobody can put their hands on you. When it comes to law, we lose in court because we don't understand law language. It's not whether you're innocent or guilty. It's whether you can speak the language. And so you have a phrase called color of law, which is the law, but it's not the exact law. It's more like what it infers. So with the hair industry, as it is called, the law is what you all are dealing with. And at one point in this thing, in the early beginnings, if we had had an understanding of law, we could have bypassed all that crap that the white folks was bringing to the table. Because I remember in Virginia, the Jews came down and they were in a courtroom in Virginia, the very first place that trained us to be submissive to them. The judge told this Jewish man he had to take his yarmulke off. And the Jewish man said, this is my religion. This is my culture. And the judge didn't care. He proceeded to force them to take it off or get out or be removed from the courtroom. Well, if you know anything about Jewish people, they don't put up with nothing that's gonna come in between them and their culture. They don't tolerate it. And we have not yet reached that level in our way of thinking or in our lifestyle. Somehow they got their lawyers, got plenty of Jewish lawyers that come down there and they talk to that judge in the back room. And the judge publicly apologized to them for that. And we need a public apology. I will never forget at a job I had, and the director sent this paper around that long dresses, hair braids, because at that time, my hair was covered. So they didn't know about locks at that time, but they knew about the braids. And they were not going to tolerate braids and all this kind of stuff. And he put it out right before Black History Month. So people on my job said, well, what you gonna do? You gonna wear your African clothes? I said, you crazy? Yeah, I'm wearing my African clothes. You're gonna have to deal with me directly. And what I've learned is they don't like confrontation, not when you're going to be the one who's going to win it. So nobody bothered me. I walked in my African clothes like I always did, and my gala and everything else. And I'm just saying all this to say that, along with the brother who just spoke, the hair industry, the black hair, can be the one unifying energy throughout us for the future. The children that you were talking about, the millennials and the different names, I don't accept any name that they give us. You can't tell me, I ain't know what they call my generation. I don't know, forgot. But that's why I forgot, because I don't even call myself that stuff. I am a Black African Native American descendant woman. My grandmother, great-grandmother, and great-grandfathers, they deserve better than that. And I know the girl, the sister who started the twisting of the locks. I didn't come that way. I came under Rastafari, which means you just leave it alone. But I remember when I was in Atlanta and I went over to her booth, because her table, because it was packed full of people. And when I got over there, she was using honey and wax and different things to twist. And I said, Dad, she's gonna rob these people of the opportunity to understand their relationship to God, because it's God who sets the so-called design or construct of a person's hair when they're talking about locking it up. At the same time, I understood the power of the hair by the way that we were dealing with it. I said, oh my God, this is powerful. So when I was a little girl, we had, y'all know them things called Shirley Temple curls?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the closest thing that we knew of that. And when I went to live in Brooklyn, and the Hasidim Jews, they had the little curls coming down each side of their face, which they called, somebody said they were called some kind of locks. But when I walked in the place, or those of us who had locks and were nappy hair, they put their locks up under their head. That taught me something. When I went to the store, it was a long line of Black people, and the woman told me to come, and she waited on me first. I said, what's this all about? So I already knew, I didn't already know, but I knew from then the respect that practicing our culture, our way, would give us in this, in the world. And like I said before, I just don't know how much to say, because the power that we have as a people, especially the women, the power that we have is infinitesimal. You can't calculate it, but we just don't know that we have it and how to use it. And we've got to become the rulers of this thing, this hair business, this clothing business. When I used to make all my clothes, I used to make the kufis and everything that the brothers wore. And then one day at one of the African festivals in Brooklyn, there was the Korean people or who was making these kufis and these caps and selling them for $2, $3. We couldn't afford to sell them for that. And then in India, speaking of the hair that people buy, my daughter married an Indian man, and through that, which is really African, because the African people 70,000 years ago set up the Indus Kush Valley. And so I found out through her mother-in-law that there's a whole, like a church, but it's not a church, it's a temple. And in the temple, a certain time of the year, the women go in there and get their hair cut off. And that's the hair that you buy. But they don't just go cut the hair off. It's like a whole ritual to doing it. But the people who buy the hair have no idea of what it is that these people set up in order for you to buy their hair. I agree with the brother who just spoke. We need more of the unification of ourselves through the process. And the hair industry, quote unquote, is the one that can do it. I've seen hairstyles that African American women do that African women from the continent ain't even thought of yet. I mean, I can't believe the things I've seen sisters do at the hair conference, places that they have those hair conferences, because my cousin took me to one, and the sister had a basket on her head. That was her hair. The sister had a shaped like a fish on top of her head. That was her hair. I couldn't believe it. So we have things that we can contribute not just to ourselves, but to the world that is yet to be discovered. And if you realize and notice that everything that we do, you know, they take it and not take it, but they copy it and endeavor to reproduce it. But there's certain things they cannot reproduce. The texture of this hair, they can't reproduce it. Of course, they marry a black man, they can have some kids that got hair, something like that. So I thank you for the moment, but that's what I see it as. And I saw a movie I want to recommend everybody in here and all your friends to look at. I just looked at it with my grandson, 8 years old, last night. It's called RRR, just 3 capital R's. And it's the story of the Hindi people and the Indian people when they got the British out of India. And the singing in the last part of it is fly the flag that unified us. We don't have a flag that unifies us. We ain't unified under the stars and stripes. The colors you have on are the colors of the flags that should be unifying us, but all Black people don't adhere to that. We don't understand the spirituality of the power of the flag. So all these different little counties and countries came together and states came together in India to get them English people out of their country. And in the end of the movie, that's what they celebrate, was how they came and were unified. We can do this. And once we do this, we're going to change the way the world is shaped. We're going to change the way the whole world does things, because that's what we do. England, India, Pakistan, Native Americans, all over the world. Did you know there are Black people in Russia? They were born there. They've been there for generations. We don't know any of these things, but just think about it. We can unify ourselves to the point where no white person can come up into your business and tell you how you're supposed to run your business.
Right.
They wouldn't, because they couldn't. I love y'all. Thank you for giving me a minute.
Thank you, Mama Ayaba. Yes, yes. Okay, anyone else want to share something? Okay. So that's, I appreciate everybody's comments, and I appreciate everybody for showing up. And we will do this again without all of the background and go right into how do we create the industry that where all these things like what Mama Yaba was speaking of, Kafele was speaking of, Ari was speaking of, you know, addressing how do we get it to our young people? How do we engage them in coming into what we're doing? Because if we're not doing nothing, they don't want to be bothered with us, you know, so we have to create that. And but when I'm also talking about the finances to make it run. We do not want to have to, it takes the finance, it takes the resources. We come together with our different resources. We can do this. We put our egos aside and be open to how we can do this. Unified, we can do this, and not with someone targeted that we'll get rid of that person and then the whole thing fall apart. That we do it together. We do it together for the generations to come. Otherwise, they won't know, like I said, they won't know who we are and what we've done and the struggle that we went through, and our forefathers before, and our you know, ancestors before that. But it is, whether we like it or not, it's going to take resources and it's going to take finances, and we have to call on our community. We have to call on the banks that are Black banks, and we have to give them something to work with. We have to bring some knowledge to how to run these businesses correctly, how to run it profitably, and then how to keep ourselves in check, because we are laying hands on people and we are bringing students in, or we are bringing apprentices in, and we must have our stuff together first before we begin teaching everybody else. And even to have like Mama Yaba come in there and you know, the books that she have and or tapes that people do, are those who are our elders. You know, there is where that resource is to keep us on task, to keep us grounded, to keep us humble, to keep us on purpose, and not separate. And if someone has a different idea, we are open to listen and to figure out, you know, what works and what doesn't work, what should be there or not. But we will never be one that everybody thinks the same, because we have the freedom that God gave us to think and desire what we have, what we want, and to make those choices. As the industry, though, we keep that pure as to what we need to provide for the other generations, and not have all the different separate I wants, or that. We have to come together, and it has to be, we have to come together. And
may I just
yeah,
say one more thing?
Yeah,
when
Mom.
you say we have the sorority system, right? Delta, Sigma, Theta, Alpha, Kappa, Alpha, all of that.
Right.
And we also have what's it called? The Eastern Star and the Masons and all that business. And although they're one organization, and each of those organizations, they all come with different ideas.
Yeah.
I think it might be difficult, but I think that's one thing that the hair industry and Black people's hair industry need to do, is to fix it and form it like a society. Everybody like to think they're part of something that's a secret. And a lot of the ways that you all do hair should be a secret. Everybody in the world should know how to do it. So that's just my thought on that. Make it a secret society of hair practitioners.
Oh, Lord. All right, anyone else want to share? All right, well, I think, did I hear someone?
Well, this is Razia, and I'm really glad for this conversation today. I'm very, very thankful that we're having it, and I can see it. I can see a very different situation. I've been very troubled by the extra hair and all the stuff that has become so popular. And I just want it to be changed and moving in a different direction. But we have to understand what beauty is.
Well, okay, thank you. Thank you, Razia.
Thank you.
I'm gonna come get my food.
It's waiting.
They make the best falafels, and she said they had some extra batter, so I'm going to get it. Thank you so much, all of my guests, and all of those who also shared, and all of you who came to listen and form your own opinion about it. We'll get closer. Each conversation, we will get closer to it. This is not something that I came up with, or it's a fad. It has always been in my heart. Like years ago, I got the naturalhairindustry.org. And so that knowing that we would have to do that, and going through that we would need something that would just cover everybody. And that there should be some standards that we can all, when I say all, I mean, groups come together to create what the standards are. Wherever you are right now in your fight or your creation of what you're doing, you do what's best for you, but there still needs to be an industry. You got to deal with your state, or you got to deal with your heart and your, way of being. But as a business, as a support, I believe that you need to have an industry where there are the standards that where people can go and see, well, what are the standards? And then you make your own decision about how you want to do your school or do your salon or do your ministry, whatever that is, because I'm gonna just say this. When our African sisters and brothers, especially in Michigan, when it became that it was an option whether you had to have a license or not. And one of the things that was, someone called and asked about, oh, okay. So when the Africans come, they would all get on one head and they would be like 3 or 4 sisters on one head doing their hair. And they would put all the money in a pot. I don't know this as a fact, but my understanding. And then they would all get paid. And there was someone that was, you know, like directing that. I believe with it in the beginning, it was brothers that they would work together. They was bringing each other over. So they had a mission, they were working together. We over here in America, we're free, you see. We are already independent as women. We are already on our road as our brothers and stuff. So we do, one person is on ahead because we are used to doing things independently. We fought for our independence. So we're not going to work 3 and 4 heads, people on one head, because this is my client and I'm going to do them and I'm going to receive all of the money. And nobody's going to, you know, we pay booth rent or we pay commission, whichever that is. So there is that difference. Now, though, I see that the African sisters are owning their own salon and they're doing their own thing, and it's maybe a little bit different. But that's what I saw as the difference. We are of the mind, I can do this, I'm free. And so it was harder for us to come together and work as one, where their system of them coming and other countries, other nationalities would come over, the Chinese and all of them, they would work together to come over. We're already over here. We're already doing our thing. We're opening up our own shop. We're independent and our mind is thinking independently. So it was harder unless you was an apprentice of somebody that 2 and 3 would do the head and it be exactly the same, because we all have our own style of what we're doing. But that being said, as an industry, those things can be respected and be protected with standards that we can go by, and the money. I'm not talking about that I'm just Black. I'm talking about where can I get the money? Where can the students go to get the money to go to your school? Where can they do that? Where can they go get the money and the resources so that they can open up their own salon, so that we can take the rights of the industry of the hair industry. It is supply and demand. So people want hair, extra hair. If someone wants to do that, they should be able to come to the industry to get the wherewithal, to get the resources, to get the connections, to get the finances, so that they can make the hair for them. So we can't be, in my mind, we can't be so that I don't want other people putting extra hair in there that we miss out. And the Chinese or whoever they are, the Koreans or whatever, they're making money off of our people. So we should have the quality. And if someone is Black and they want to have that type of business, that there's some direction in that. So that's my, you know, I'm an Aquarian. I accept everybody, but I do believe that there's some standards that need to be made, and it's guidance for those people who want to do things that are against our religion or against, you know, that type of thing. But there's guidance in that. There's guidance. There's oneness in that, where we stand as a people, so that we get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And the more that we are standing as one, as an industry, the more money will come in so that we can do what we need to do. So that may be all, that is what it is. And I want to just again, thank everybody for coming and sharing. And when we do this again, we will leave the backgrounds and the introductions. We'll leave that alone and come on in and begin working on the business side, the leadership side, and putting something together. We can do that. We can do that. We can have things in the industry. We can have that where there's a group of people who all they do is the social media. They put that out there. They put things out there to keep reminding us of how beautiful our hair is, and getting those young people who are engaged and already in tune with who they are and in tune, and put them out there. They're there. We need to, as elders, help them get out there. We know enough people after 50 years of doing anything, you know the resources, and we can put our foot down. And like I said, to these banks, especially our Black banks, we should be able to, no, not should, we can say, we need help in this area, and we want to be able to have our students. Now, that being said, we must work with those students to make them accountable to pay those loans back so that they will want to continue working with us. Not only that, that they see, other banks would see so much of how much money they are making by the lending, and that being fair, you know, with the interest. We got to deal with all of that. It's the whole thing that other people will be wanting to give us money, to give the industry money to help with building the industry itself. But the cosmetology boards are not our answer. And they don't make money off of us. It's a power thing. And we just take our power and do what we need to do. And honor. As far as like a franchise, you know, that's a whole, I remember people saying that they wanted to, oh, I would like to open an Everest. I said, well, why would you want my name on there? Why wouldn't you want your name on there? You know, that's your name. So that's all I have to say right now. So thank you again for coming, and I love you. And we're all one.
Love you too.
Sheila,
Yes, ma'am.
the reason why they want your name on it is because you created a foundation.
I know.
We have to honor the people that laid foundations. I will truly consider that if I ever decided to open up a storefront, that it would be another Locks and Chops, so it will be another Connects. We have to honor the people who laid foundation.
Yeah.
It's not about my name, it's not about ego, it's about being fearless and being a collective. Cosmetology school, people walk into an institution, the foundation is already laid, and they move forward. We don't have a solid foundation.
Yeah.
And before we get off this conversation, as you being the teacher this morning, I would like you to give us some homework for us to start being in collective, and what we can do to support you, whether it's financial or whether it's anything. But I think we should leave this conversation with being in action and giving us some homework until we have the next conversation.
Thank you. And thank you. I received that as I had to learn that about the name, someone wanting to do that. So I appreciate that. Yeah, so I would say that our homework would be that you write down what you think how you feel, how you see the industry. Just write it down. Write it down, and then we can pull all these things together and get started with that. And it won't be like, oh, we'll do this next year. We're on a roll now. And I will be in contact. I don't know. I hope that everybody Well, I'll send it out to whoever I know and we'll put the word out when the next one will be, and let's just do it. I mean, let's just do the doggone thing. Yeah.
May I?
Yes.
As my cousin Yaba said, we must know, if we know our constitutional law rights, that will help us out a whole lot in the hair industry. It's so much that a lot of us do not know, and we can do this. We definitely can do this.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And
Sheila, Queen Aduni, I want to say this to you.
Yes.
When a person goes to the Hilton Hotel, they know the quality that they're going to get. I mean, maybe not the Hilton, but somebody's hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So if they come to a franchise of your name or the name of your business, of course, you know, the person's name also will be there, either under it or, you know, on top of it or somewhere. They know the quality of work they're going to get. There's no doubt. So I want to just add that to it.
Mm-hmm.
Madam.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Ayaba, I love you. I can't wait to meet you and hug you.
I can't wait to meet you too. A bunch of people I'm gonna meet and hug when I get out there.
Now he's in Brooklyn.
Oh, you're in Brooklyn. My home man. Yeah, well, we'll have to make that happen too. I used to sing a lot in Brooklyn, especially at the East, which used to be at 10 Claver Place. So I look forward to meeting you too. We'll have to make that happen. I love me some Brooklyn. I tell everybody I died and was born again in Brooklyn.
I know the East very well. My stepfather was Carlos Garnett. He played at the East.
Carlos. Yeah, my band and Carlos' band, we always worked together. It was either him and me or us and him. We opened for each other. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful band. My Lord.
Sister Sheila, please give the sister my phone number. I need to talk to her.
I will. I absolutely will. So let me see. Yeah, I'll connect with everybody. We'll pick a date and we'll come back together. And the homework is for you to write out how you see the industry. What do you think is important in the industry? And you might be heavier on the education side. You might be heavier on the cultural side. You might be heavier on the spiritual side. That doesn't matter, on the food, the body. But whatever that thing is that you are passionate about seeing that is included in the industry. Let's do that. And I don't want to pick a date off the top of my head, but I will definitely get back with everybody about it. Ashe?
Ashe.
All right. Let me put everybody on view because
tell them.
Thank you, Sheila.
Tell them to go to the archives and check out other people's programs too.
Yeah. And Kafele, you might want to check out, especially Mama Bay, who's on Wednesdays. She cuts across on the cultural side. All of them are good. So go to the website and which is elizabethvisionaryconference.org, and go to the archives and you can get some other information.
Okay.
So if everybody would hug themselves, give yourself some love, and then hug the world. Love you. Peace out.
Peace out. Love you, sis.
Peace.
Love, love, love.
Love you.